Hello, 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 hello. Let's see. Heather C needs to join. How is everybody? Happy 4th of July. It's the 4th. There's fireworks everywhere. They're legal in Florida, so all I hear is pop, pop, pop. Hello, hello. You, me, and my ex. What's up, Mark? You're in Peru right now, I believe. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, you, me, and my ex came on yesterday,
It
and hey, what's up,
did.
Mark? And I was blown away at how insane and explosive this finale was. Like, Caroline and Alex had this little party, and it got, I don't want to say out of control. I want to just say it kind of got insane, right? Like, there were drinks thrown, there was fists thrown, there were people being asked to be protected by production. Like, I I didn't even expect this much drama. And like, actually, to be honest, Alex and Caroline have been very chill all season, right? Like, I feel like they've been just kind of doing their own thing, dealing with the pregnancy, raising their baby, and then all of a sudden, well, I mean, there was a little bit of a hiccup for the bachelor party this season, but I never imagined this much drama on the finale, and it almost seemed like they weren't getting along. Did you feel like that? Did you feel like they were fighting?
Yeah, but I think it was just like the stress of just bringing on a new addition to the family. You know what I mean? I think that it gave them a lot going on in their lives. Plus, I think TLC knew that this would really spark their ratings. Like that was some fighting that we saw. That was like my favorite part of the whole show. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm
Right?
so
I know.
tired.
It was crazy. I was really shocked at how crazy it got. And like I said, I wasn't really expecting a huge altercation like that. Like, it was like a massive, like, the cops could have been called. This is how crazy it got. So I was just like, holy crap, this is insane. But hold on, I'm gonna invite some cast, see if
Okay.
anybody wants to join. So I'm gonna send some invites. Yeah, so I do want to talk about April and Roy, because we found out 6 months after she was trying to get the divorce paper signed by John, who he went and changed some things in the divorce papers. So we knew that there were going to be some issues. But 6 months later, we found out that they're still married. They are still not divorced. We don't know what, she didn't really give us any background on why the papers weren't signed or what was going on. But we found out that Roy is moving from Palm Springs back to North Carolina. And he's going to be moving in with April and their son Tanner, which this is kind of what we assumed was going to happen all along. We kind of assumed that they were going to find their way back to each other. And I think 6 months is a nice amount of time. Like, April has spent 6 months on her own, taking care of herself, being a mom, just being in her own skin, in her own space. So I feel like maybe this is a good thing. I feel like April moving in, well, not moving in, well, Roy moving back in with April under the same roof. I feel like they get along. From the matching tattoos to everything that they do together to sharing children, like, there isn't a lot that they haven't done together already. So I'm kind of happy for her, because she deserves to be happy. And, they say if you love someone, let them go. And if they come back to you,
That is
that you were supposed to be with them, right? And I feel like
yeah.
that's exactly what happened with April and Roy, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is like a tricky thing because I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell people what to do with their lives. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I feel like America does enough of that with all these reality shows. I really wanted to see like April just kind of like break apart from like everyone and just search and find her. Like, who is April? What does April want? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like anytime April has had a moment, it's always attached to one of these people that are in her inner circle.
Yeah.
It's always like Lauren or Roy, or you know what I mean? It's just, what about who else is out there? Like, who
Yeah.
else is out of this dating circle? I I think I was the most sad because I wanted to see her kind of flourish more and hang out with Lauren, but I'm very happy for Lauren. I'm glad that she found a significant other and that things seem to be working out really great. It just sucks because, you know, April said that she doesn't feel like, you know, they have much time for each other anymore. But you know what? That's what I said. I feel like this could have been a perfect time instead of kind of bouncing between the two. You know, it's like you were with Roy and you were probably always meant to be with Roy. They always had chemistry. Like you said, they had the matching tattoos. They had, you know, all this stuff. And it's like, I just feel like maybe they shouldn't have fully separated. You know, I know she kind of like went her other way and got in another relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like they probably should have just been together the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like them being together is good. It's gonna be good for her, and they share children. You know, there's not much closer you can get with someone. You know,
Yeah.
and they had that space. He moved all the way to California, and she still managed to keep him in her life. She still visited him in Palm Springs. They still talked all the time. Now, I feel like this is just the right direction for her, and you know, she had to go through some frogs to get back to her prince. And like I said, she thought Roy was a frog at first, but you know, Roy is actually, I think he's the right choice for her. He understands her and
Yeah.
he takes her side. He lets her win, you know, and that's important in a relationship when somebody doesn't have to always be right. I feel like with John, he had to always be right. Nobody
Yeah.
else's opinion was right. It was just, this is how I feel. This is
He
what's
needed
going
to
on.
work on himself more
Yeah.
as well. That's why I think they needed to step back and just kind of all figure out who they are. They needed a lot of like self-help, self-love, you know, just everything. They needed time to figure out what did they want and who they are as people. You know, is it meant to be? Is this relationship meant to be? Is this worth salvaging? And, you know, they couldn't get along for the longest time. They needed to probably take that moment and separate until they could be the bigger person and actually have an adult conversation. And then they wouldn't have had so much banter back and forth. But I want to know, I noticed that Kenzie is on. I don't know if she's still there or not. Did we lose her? She's still there?
I think we lost Kenzie. We lost Kenzie, guys.
I was going to say, let's skip ahead to Kenzie, but but she's not there. So we'll go ahead and take our time then.
Yeah. I mean, she might come back. I don't know. It's the 4th of July. I know people have a lot of preoccupied things going on. But I wanted to talk about it. I know it just happened last night, so I don't want to wait too long.
Yeah.
But speaking of Kenzie, we saw Kenzie finally talk to talk to Matt about how she felt about Chelsea. And Chelsea was actually open and honest. And she finally said that she feels like she needs to save Matt from, I guess, anything that could hurt him. And in her mind, that could be Kenzie. Kenzie could be something that could hurt him. And we don't understand how her logic works because I feel like Kenzie is a positive influence on Matt. I feel like she's helping him grow as a person. She's helping him grow up and be more responsible. But, you know, Chelsea remembers when she was with him, he wasn't responsible. He wasn't that person. And I think that transformation is what is scaring Chelsea because she's like, not only are you taking away my best friend, you're changing him into a different person. Like he's not going to be that same person that I grew to love, that I call my best friend. We go drinking together. We do these things together. And I think it's harder for Chelsea to let him go as a friend than it was for Chelsea to let Matt go as a boyfriend. Do you feel like that? I feel like she was easily able to break up with him and just say that didn't work. But the friendship was so deep for Chelsea and Matt, I feel like she's having a really hard time letting go of the fact that he's not going to be her best friend, and she can't call him at 3 a.m. when she has an issue, and she can't show up at his house whenever she wants because he's going to be married, you know, and he's going to be starting a family. And the person that he's becoming, she's feeling like there won't be room for her because in actuality, Chelsea's not really growing. She's kind of staying in the same place, and there's no room for Chelsea as who she is to stay that way in Matt's life because he's progressing, he's moving forward, he's changing, he's being more mature, he's gonna start a family, he's getting married, and he's transitioning into a man, you know, and it's a little late, but it's better late than never, right? I feel like there's never not enough time to come into your own and become who you are. But I just feel like Chelsea needs to really let go of Matt. And I think she's done it as a boyfriend, but she can't grasp the idea of letting go of him as a best friend. And unfortunately, it's really difficult because she's a woman and people are under the impression that men and women can't be best friends. There's always something more there. And even Kinsey said it. She's like, I don't believe you when you say that you don't have feelings for him. I just don't believe you. And even though she could be telling the truth, her actions are making it hard to believe that.
She's not. Period. Like, it was never about being a friend. We did mention Alex and Caroline in the one comment, but we will go back to them because we didn't talk about the whole thing. So we will go back to Alex and Caroline. But back to Chelsea. I think that she was using the fact as being a best friend as like a ploy to kind of act on her inner feelings, because it wouldn't be appropriate if she would have been known as the ex-girlfriend that still had a crush on him, trying to talk to him, try to hang out. When you're labeled a friend, there's a little bit more of a pass that you can, you know, you can kind of use that to your advantage. You could be like, oh, no, we're just hanging out. We're friends. You know, we're just friends. So it's okay. So the way she acted wasn't like if two best girlfriends were, you know, having a fight and something happened or whatever. No, she was devastated. Like, she just found out that her crush or her boyfriend went and decided to spend the rest of his life with somebody else. Because how are you going to be like, I'm your best friend, I love you, I care about you, I want the best intentions for you, but right in front of the girl too, like right in front of Kenzie, she was just like, but I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that you don't marry him. What if that's his key to happiness? Yeah. Like, how are you going to say what makes him happy just because you didn't make him happy?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't have an issue with Chelsea. I mean, I don't know her as a person. I can't have an issue with people like I don't know. But her character that was built on the show kind of irked me, because if I was in Kenzie's shoes, I would be pissed. Like, point blank. First of all, I wouldn't have her in my house. I don't care if she was your sister, brother, cousin's, uncle's best friend. Like, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be in my house. And if you are, I'm going to be watching you like a hog. Like, that's just how it is. Like, the fact that she was just kind of like letting her be in her house, knowing that she probably wanted to be with him and possibly try to take your man from you, that's just too much. You know what I mean? That's just way too much. So I think that, you know, it's for the best. I think that even though it's probably not how Matt wanted it to pan out completely between everybody, I think that it was for the best. I think that Chelsea really needs to move on. I think she needs to let Matt go as a friend, at least for right now, until her feelings die down, and step away and try to find other people to surround herself with, because it is not healthy being with a person that you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah, she said that too. She was like, I'm watching him do the things that I thought we were going to do together. That's exactly what she said. And she can't take the idea that he is doing those things just with someone else. And the fact that she said she had to protect him from Kinsey, I saw the look on Kenzie's face and she's like, protect him from what?
Exactly.
Like,
that's so disrespectful.
Right? Me making him happy, he needs to be protected from. Like, me helping take care of his house cleaning, teaching him how to pay the mortgage on time. Like, Kinsey is turning him into a man. She's making him more mature. She's making him into husband material. And I hate to say this, but Chelsea didn't do that for him. And unfortunately, Kinsey came in and she was able to turn him into the man that he was supposed to be. Yeah. And unfortunately, he's taking on that role. He's accepting the knowledge. He's accepting the support from Kinsey. And like you said, he doesn't know how to detach from Chelsea, because that's just something he's just so familiar with. She's always been there. She's always been the person that they can go drink and make bad decisions with. But he's in a place in his life, he's not going to be making those bad decisions anymore. He's more mature. He's more responsible. So like she said, there's not going to be room for her in his life anymore. And she's like mourning, you know, she's like literally in mourning. She's like, well, I have to like say goodbye to my best friend. She's like, this is like a funeral. Like she looked like Kenzie's like, I'm planning my wedding. Chelsea's like, you're right. It's like a funeral. Like this is more of a funeral for her. And it's hard though, but I feel like this is the best way for her to move on. It's kind of like that push. Like you go to the pool and you're like, I don't want to jump in. And somebody runs up behind you and pushes you in the pool.
You in,
yeah, that's kind of what's happening. Like Chelsea has got to get over him. And Kenzie is there with the ring on her finger. And she's like, girl, get in the pool. Like she's pushing her in the pool. Like, look, this is what's happening. Get with it. You know, we're getting married. You got to get you a life, possibly a man, you know, some hobbies, you know, you get it together, you know, do what you need to do to get over him, but you can't be living in my house and coming to my house every day and being a part of our lives. That's just weird. You know, like it's totally weird. And it's like, you and your ex really shows us how it's weird that exes can stay friends, because everyone says like when you break up, you detach, you move on. As I've said this before in interviews, like people rarely ever have something positive to say about their ex. Like when you ask someone about anyone they dated in the past, even though at one point they thought they were going to marry this person and they were the best person in the world, they will probably say something negative, because that's usually how relationships end. And there's always bitterness there. So when you see people staying friends, you called it, you were like, there's feelings involved.
Well, I think it is right in front of your face. It has the word ex. Yeah. Like they're ex for a reason. If it was going to work out, they'd still be in your life. I mean, it's simple as that. And the people that can't find the detachment, there's still some type of feelings there, whether or not they enjoyed each other's company, they have a love for one another, they couldn't find anybody else that was like that person, they just don't want to detach to them for some reason, or they want to just put them like on a back burner, and if you know something else happens, they have that person as a backup plan.
Oh yeah, because Chelsea did say something about that too. She's like, I never thought in a million years he was going to get engaged and then start planning a wedding, because I think in her mind she was like, this isn't, you know, permanent.
Great facts. He's X means exit.
Yeah,
that is so true. Means exit out of my life.
Exit stage left,
so
right? Exit stage left. Take yourself and remove yourself from my life. Okay, so
be fair to the person that you're with. Think about their feelings and how they like it, you know? But go ahead.
So,
sorry.
Elodie and DeAndre are no more. So, and I kind of felt like you knew that early on, because you were like, I don't think they're going to work out, because he's not ready to be a stepdad and she's a mom. And you can't change the fact that you're a mom. No. That's just something you are. Yeah, so you kind of called that from the beginning. And then we found out that DeAndre packed up and left Florida, and he's going back to Atlanta, and he has an apartment with Rowan and his mom. Is that where we're going?
About getting a girlfriend, though.
Yeah.
Who is going to date you when you live in with your mama and your ex-girlfriend? Like,
this whole situation,
red flag written right across the forehead.
This whole situation, yeah, it's a huge red flag. And the fact that he won't address the elephant in the room, that he and Rowan are probably have like really strong feelings for each other, and no one will address it. I guess his mom, Virgie, is the only person who's really addressing the elephant in the room, because she's like, what's going on with y'all? Because clearly there's something going on here. So where are we at with that? And they're the ones ignoring the fact that they're probably supposed to be together. And it's hard, because I think that Rowan is afraid to try that with him, because she knows what happened in the past. Because when she found out that DeAndre was talking to other girls and Elodie got that DM, the first thing she said was, well, did you do it? Were you talking to her? And I was like, well, that makes it seem like there's some experience dealing with this with her, because he was like, well, she'd sent to DM, and she's like, well, were you talking to her? Were you hanging out with her? What did you do? And you know, a best friend is normally like, that is such a lie. You would never do that. But since they've been intimate before and they dated, she was like, well, that kind of sounds like something that you would have done. So what did you do? And I was like, see, I think that's what's holding her back. I feel like she's close with him. They have that bond, but she knows that him changing and not doing the things that he did when they were together is easier said than done. Because she's like, I can deal with you as a friend. I can't deal with you going out with other girls. I can't deal with getting DMs from people or calls or voicemails and that. She's like, because he does like to party. He's made it very clear he likes to go out. He likes to club. He likes to be on his social media. He has high-end parties, lots of girls, lots of photos, lots of things going on. And it can be misconstrued because if you think about it, DeAndre's Instagram doesn't have one photo of any woman on his page. The whole time he was with Elodie, you know, there was no photo. And I think Rowan had actually brought that up. She's like, you're making it appear that you're available. So even though you're in a relationship, it appears online, and when you go out to parties and everything, that there's nobody attached to you. And I think that was the main issue that Rowan had. She's like, you're going to have to let people know we're together or we're not going to be together. And I feel like that's how she got to where she was. And it's clear that DeAndre is not ready to settle down. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that if you're ready to settle down, that's one thing. But if you want to still have fun, that's another thing. But Elodie was like, look, you got to either be ready or you can't be ready. And I think her moving on was the best thing for her because, I mean, her baby's dad already said, I don't want this guy around my daughter anyway. So it was going to make things complicated. And why should you complicate things with her ex-husband who she gets along with well over a relationship that probably isn't going to last, right?
Yeah. Here's my thing with them. I like all of them, but I like them separately. I don't like Elodie and DeAndre as a couple, only because I feel like Elodie can do so much better. And she is doing so much better. She's thriving in her life, in her new relationship and everything. I feel like DeAndre is still trying to live that F-boy lifestyle. I think that he likes to be out there, flirtatious, fun, party life, just kind of like living it to the fullest. And she's more like, okay, we can go have a night on the town, but at the end of the day, I'm a mom. I need to be here to tuck my child in, say goodnight. You know, I might be able to go on a overnight trip, but I still got, my kid in the back where I have to take care of. And he's like mentally not there. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's young and he has a lot of learning to do. And the way that he hasn't fully finished his chapter with Rowan is also a big issue.
Yeah.
Because my thing is that, first of all, they cannot have a solid relationship. Matter of fact, DeAndre can't have a solid relationship until he sits his mother down and, Rowan or whoever, and says, look, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. Because his mom wants nothing but for him and Rowan to be together. And the way she couldn't even say Elodie's name correct. And he didn't even bother to correct her half the time. It's like, if this is the girl you're with and the girl that you want to be with, you can at least be like, hey, yo, mom, like, her name is Elodie. Elodie. Like just making it sound like you actually care, not like, she messed the name up.
Yeah, like it was temporary. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that, just to show that you care and that, your feelings and her feelings are taken into consideration. You could tell that him being so close with Rowan bothered her, but yet again, he was very blunt and was just like, nah, she was here and she's not going nowhere. So to me, that tells me that she's your top priority. So how are you even going to think about being a stepfather, let alone in another relationship when you're still kind of in a relationship with Rowan?
Well, he said in the interview, if you remember, he said, I can find another girlfriend, but I can't find another best friend. That's what he said to Elodie.
Exactly.
And she got up and left.
But yeah,
she
this
was
is
like,
the girl,
you know what?
that you love.
Exactly.
This is the girl that you say you want to be in a relationship with. No, unfortunately, Elodie was the girl of the moment. She was the girl on his arm, the one he could take to the club, the one that he could go and, you know, spend time with. And we should have known, because when she was having her surgery, who did she call? The person that she was married to. Yeah. Because she knew that even though he had did her dirty in the past, she still was able to move past that and be like, okay, this is the father of my child. You know, he's overall a good person to me now. We've worked through our differences. I know that he's not going to leave me handed. It wouldn't have killed DeAndre to pick up his cell phone and drop a text, an Instagram chat, a Snapchat, anything, and say, hey, thinking about you. How you doing? How's your recovery? Did you want some company? Do you need anything? I'm going out. You know what I mean? Like just a little bit, just to say, hey, thinking of you. Send a heart emoji. Like just anything. Something to just say, I'm thinking about you and I care and I hope that your surgery went well. And you know, he didn't give her that. And that should have been an indication to her that he wasn't ready to be a stepfather. He couldn't even check on you. So how's he going to check on a little girl?
Yeah, I agree with everything. I agree 100%. I think that he's not ready to even really be in a serious relationship. So being a stepdad is in a whole nother realm of change and transition for him. He's not even within like 5 years of being ready for that. And I will say this, I respect him 100% for being honest and not wasting any more of Elodie's time. And I know like people are like, oh well, he was mean about it, and he was just like, but I respect the fact that he was like, look, you want something that I can't give you, so I want to make sure that I don't hold you here or string you along. Like he did say, look, I'm not ready to do that. I'm ready to try or show effort, I think is what he said, but he's like, I'm not ready to do that. So I respect that, because there's people who lead people on. There are people who will tell people what they want to hear, and just so they don't have to have that difficult conversation. They don't have to keep arguing about it. He didn't do that. I felt like she asked for a yes or no, and he gave the yes or no. It wasn't what she wanted to hear, but at least she knew at that moment she could move on with a clear conscience and know that she did everything that she could to make that relationship work. It wasn't on her. She tried. She did everything that she could, and he wasn't ready. And she could walk away knowing that she did what she needed to do to save what they had. And yeah, it was 9 months out of her life, but she learned from it. And what do you think about the fact that she's dating an older guy? She didn't say how older. She just said it's an older guy and he's more mature and he's bonding with her daughter. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like if it works for her, it works for me. I mean, she's the one that, you know, has to go to bed and wake up to him, not me, you know. And if she feels that he, you know, is taking care of her, if he feel, you know, she feels that, you know, he's not bringing the bull crap and that he's taking care of not only her, but her daughter, and, you know, being courteous of everyone's feelings, then good for her. Half the time, unless it's an underage moment, age ain't nothing but a number as you get older. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds so like cliche and so weird to say nowadays, because, you know, we're part of the whole, you know, younger people and all that. But no, I wasn't meaning that. I was meaning the fact that, you know, they're both of age. So, I mean, even if he's 5 years older, you know, whatever, or 2 years older, if he's right for her and he takes good care of her, that's all that matters in the end.
I think older is a safe choice, because an older man understands the importance of family and relationships, and he knows that going out to the club isn't where you're going to find the love of your life. So like men, you know, they do what they do in their 20s is what I hear. You know, in your 20s, sometimes early 30s, and then you realize how important it is that night at home with your woman, and you're just watching TV and you're enjoying popcorn and you're eating and you're just relaxing. That's a real relationship. The people that you meet at the club, they don't want that. You know, they might not even call you the next day. So I think her going a little older is probably best, because she's more mature. Like, I know Elodie's super young. She's 28 years old. She's a mom, but like in her mindset, because even she said it, she's like, I'm not going out every night and partying. She's like, I like to be in my bed at night, you know, and tuck my daughter in, you know, enjoy a nice Netflix show. So I feel like that's perfect for her. It's right along the lines for that. So he's going to be on the same level as she is. So she doesn't have to worry about if he's ready. He's clearly ready. They're on the same page. She does, because dating these guys in their 20s, it's like it's a hit or miss, right? Like ladies are like, he's successful, but he's immature, or he's mature, but he doesn't know how to settle down. He doesn't know how to be faithful. Like there's always something that they haven't nailed down yet. Like, because they're still learning. Like guys mature way older than women do. Women can be a 22-year-old mom and she will be working, have her own place, her own car. She'll have her life in order at 22 years old. And it's like a guy will be barely living with his mom, like barely moved out, right? Like he has no idea what's going on. And it's like, look at DeAndre, he's moving back in with his mom at 28, you know? So it's like, she's definitely going the right way. Like going a little older, there's nothing wrong with that. And maturity is what she's really reaching for. She has to find somebody who's on the same maturity level. Yeah, she's 28 years old. Elodie is super young. She's very successful. She works in real estate. And she's a mom, but she has her life in order. And I think that's what kept her and DeAndre apart. It's basically they're just not on the same maturity level. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the baby talk with Jennifer, Josh, Chantel, and Danielle? So Josh and Danielle are looking to expand their family, and they want to add a new baby, but Danielle doesn't know if she wants to put her body through, or if she can put her body through having another baby. And we know that Chantel has beautiful, healthy babies. So she kind of asked Chantel if that would be something they would be willing to do. And before the scene ended, we saw a pregnancy test and we saw like prenatal vitamins, but we didn't get any like actual concrete evidence of anything. So we know that they were not going the IVF way or anything. They were going to do the same turkey baster way that they did with Camila. So what do you think? Do you think this is a good idea? Because I know that they were living together for 5 months and that wasn't going well. So I was wondering, like, being pregnant and living together, would that be a horrible idea? Would that be a good idea? Like, I'm worried about how well they're going to be getting along during that process. Because I know pregnant women are not necessarily able to deal with a lot of crazy nonsense going around, you know, because they're already feeling, you know, a certain type of way, and they're uncomfortable, and their food, sometimes the smell of food makes pregnant women feel sick. So it's like the idea of having all these different people around. I don't know if this is a good idea. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of starting to look like a sister wives situation. Except, you know, not everybody is, you know, all trying to be with the same person. But I don't know. I think that it's great that they want to expand their family, as they should. You know, I mean, if you are trying to build your family and you have the means to do it, and the time and the heart, the home, all that great stuff, then please, yes, by all means, you know, stack your family. But the only thing that I'm like trying to see how this part works is that, okay, Chantel carried Camila. Chantel is married to Jennifer. Jennifer's ex got Chantel pregnant, and then, but she already had kids with him as well. Yeah. So I kind of get that dynamic, where even if Jennifer wasn't part of that situation, like there was no egg or whatever, to me that's still kind of went, because they're going to share the same baby's father, right? Which I guess he's also the father, because don't they have other kids too?
Yeah, Josh and Danielle have a child.
Yeah, they have kids. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I guess it's kind of the same situation, but except for Chantel. Like, yeah, if there's no like egg placement or anything like that, and it's just straight through Chantel's body and then Josh's stuff, it's just like Camila. It's like, yeah, wouldn't that just be Josh and Chantel's baby? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah. And then they're handing, obviously, the baby to Danielle. That's the only thing that I'm like, I can't find that connection other than just finding love, peace, joy, and, you know, giving the gift of life to somebody. Yeah, like,
I mean, it's kind of the same as like a surrogate, right? Kind of, but not really.
But don't they
Because
use, like, when they do surrogacy, don't they use something of the mother's?
well, yeah, depending.
So that
Sometimes,
way it's kind of like the person carrying the baby is more like just like the shell or the oven, so to speak. The
well,
one
yeah,
that's kind
yeah,
of holding or cooking the
yeah,
baby. And
yeah. They'll
then,
use her eggs. Yeah, I
yeah,
guess you're right. So yeah, the baby would actually not be related to Danielle at
other
all, but
than sharing the father
father
of
of
her
her
other
children.
kids.
Yes,
But then it kind of puts in the whole perspective of what Jennifer and Chantel are going through. Well, what if there's a separation?
right.
You know, like if something happens, God forbid, how does that work? Or let's say Chantel gets upset and angry with the whole family, doesn't want anything to do with it. She would probably have legal right to just take that baby. And then what? So that was my only thing. Like, I love this family. They're like one of my favorites ever. But I just like, I think that it's like if you put stuff out there and people are not aware of it, it's okay to question. It's okay to have questions. It's okay to ask, because that's how you educate yourself. It's not so much just saying, I don't think you should do this because this is this or the other. It's more like, please educate me, make me understand. So that way I'm just trying to put everything on a board. I'm just trying to put like all my P's and Q's together and say, okay, so if this is this and this is this, where would this go? Because with the Jennifer and the Chantel situation, there was a birth certificate where they were able to put Jennifer and Chantel as like mom and mom, you know, whatever, and that would work. And she could probably go to court and fight that as, hey, I'm, you know, no, Dee Dee, I'm not saying that I think Chantel will ever do it. I'm just speaking like in general. Like, I don't think Chantel will either. I think that she's a great person. I think that she truly loves this family and all their children and all of them deeply. I was just talking like generalization. Like, if this situation was just anybody in the world, how would this work without like some type of like money involved or like legal to protect the rights of all involved? Because
It's
you're
not too
giving a
late
baby,
to write
so
up
that's a lot.
something. It's not too late to have something written up. Like, I think that's kind of what Jennifer brought up this season. She's like, well, we should at least know what our rights are if something goes wrong, because we can't always assume everything is going to go right, you know, because even her family, her own mom said, this is going to go wrong. Like, everybody thinks what you guys are doing is not going to last forever. So I think it's not too late. Like, maybe they could have some papers drawn up. You know how people, before they get married, they have a prenuptial agreement drawn up, and there's custody agreements drawn up between two people when things don't work out. Kind of do it prehand, so it doesn't take in effect or matter unless something goes wrong. Because I do think it's important to make sure that the rights of the parents are respected. Because like you said, the child would belong to Josh and Chantel, who are not together. So say something happens, Chantel would be able to take those children and leave, you know, and then the people who the child was being raised by fully aren't a part of that child's life, and or only the father. Like, it's gonna get messy if something goes wrong. Like you said, I don't think that it would go wrong,
Right.
but we can't always assume the best. You know, they always say plan for the worst and hope for the best. So I think Jennifer was right. There should be something written down that everyone agrees to and signs in case anything goes wrong, because once things go wrong, that's when it's hard to have a conversation. Because when people are going through a divorce, their communication level is super low. Like, it's everything turns into a screaming match and an argument and a fight because they don't get along anymore. So while everybody is in a good place, this would be the good time to get that agreement down, signed, looked over by a lawyer, and make sure everybody is going to come out with the rights that they want and deserve. Because the only person that's going to lose here will be the children. You know, the child is going to grow attached to having these people around them as their immediate family. And if something was to go wrong, that right should be protected.
Exactly. It's a shame that we can't get any of them to come online and join, because I feel like they're very open about their family dynamic and that they would answer any questions that people would have. because they are very open,
Yeah.
especially Danielle and Jennifer. You know, they always say, I'll take them anywhere, and they tell their whole life story
Yeah.
to people. But, you know, like I said, I don't think that it's so wrong to ask questions as long as it's in a tasteful manner. You know, that's how, like I said earlier, that's how you educate yourself. You'll never know if you don't inquire or ask. And as long as you're not passing along judgment or making them feel anything less than, hey, Kim, then I think that there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you know, I was just wondering, how would this work for your family? They might look at it as like a Brady Bunch situation, and, you know, they just raise them all together as one big happy family. So I don't know. We would need some clarification. So if they're out there somewhere, please join our live and answer our questions.
Yeah, I would love to know. Oh, I spelled that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know, because the whole season kind of focused on that, because I kind of want to know if they actually did go to the lawyer and get some clarification on the answers. Hey, Kim, on the answers that they wanted. Hey, bestie. Because, I mean, it's always good to know before something goes wrong. I always feel like there should be a plan A, B, and C. You know, your plan A is what you want to happen. Plan B is if something goes wrong, and plan C is if it all just blows up in your face, right? So you should have all directions covered, and hopefully they did, because I don't know, I feel like they're probably going to go through with having this baby. But TLC is really slick, because I remember Christina and Jessica, and they the baby, and they hid everything. So if Chantel is pregnant, we'll never know until the new season, right? I feel like they're so good at hiding things. We'll never know what's going on, because I remember when Christina came back with her baby, and we were like, she was pregnant. When did that happen? They were so good at hiding that, and I was like, how do you manage to hide an entire pregnancy?
Married and
right.
pregnant.
Right. So I feel like if this is the case, that's definitely going to be hidden from us. So we're going to come back next season and we're going to see it. Speaking of another baby, so what about Alex and Caroline?
Okay, come on, everybody. Where y'all at?
Yeah, how about Alex and Caroline?
We're here.
Because now it appears right after Bowen was born, you know, they were literally just having the sip and see, the after birth baby shower. And after that crazy confrontation, and fists were thrown and drinks were thrown and just a craziness, we found out that Caroline is pregnant again. I'm pretty sure she is, right? It wasn't we wondered. I'm pretty sure she is, right?
I felt like that was a confirmation. I thought that's what we were
did too. Like, so she's expecting another baby, and I don't know how this is going to go, because it definitely seems like Steven is definitely driving lots of problems into their marriage and relationship. Like, right? I feel like Steven was the one who brought the stripper to the bachelor party. He's the one that brought Patrick to the sip and see. Like, Steven is kind of the underlining issue in their relationship and in their marriage. He doesn't know how to stay out of things and stop causing problems. And we're just seeing how negatively it can affect Alex and Caroline, when the issues that Alex had with Patrick, I guess he said, were separate from Caroline, and he didn't want Caroline to get involved. And Caroline was like, well, we're married, so anything that he does to you, he does to me. So she looked at it as, I was defending you. And then Alex is like, you can't defend me because he didn't do anything to you. And then it just got crazy, right? It just got insane. The producers were asked to protect people who were being thrown over tables.
Crazy.
It just it just got insane. Hey, Mark.
You know, I was like, I don't know. I felt like this season of them, I don't want to say dry, but I felt like because of them bringing baby Bowen on board, they didn't really get a chance to do too much with them. So I felt like they weren't really focusing on them as much as they were trying to push, like, you know, Roy and April, or Elodie and DeAndre. I feel like they were kind of brought more into our faces. But I feel like that scene, they just like dominated the whole season. Like, I was just like, first of all, I was like, was I in my phone or something? Because I was like, where did this drama even come from?
No, it just like, kind of erupted out of nowhere.
I'm like,
it did. It erupted out of nowhere.
Like, there's this guy, and then he's all up on Steven, and then he's trying to fight Alex, and then Caroline is about to go after this other dude, and I'm like, whoa. poor baby Bowen, where's he at? He's like in another room chilling. Like, what is happening? Like, this is supposed to be embrace your baby and not bring the drama. And they should know that anytime you bring the X for exit, we'll go ahead and use Dee Dee's line there. Anytime you go ahead and bring them out, that it was going to be a problem. It was going to be a problem because Steven, I don't want to say he's messy, but he's kind of messy. He's kind of messy.
He brought that stripper, and then after he brought the stripper, he was like, I don't know how the stripper got there. He literally looked him in his face and said, I don't know how the stripper got there. After he told us in the interview he hired the stripper. He's messy. He really is messy.
He likes to mess with Caroline a lot.
Mm-hmm. And it's a game to him. It's a game.
I just like, I know when we were covering the episode, I had said that I just wanted Caroline to realize that regardless of Steven's presence, even if it does like annoy her, like I honestly think that, like, oh, I can't say it not to bother her, because you can't tell people how to feel, you know. I mean, if it bothers her, it bothers her, but I just feel like she should be secure with herself and her relationship, because you married him, you have a baby with him, and now another one on the way, which congratulations to both of them. You have cats together, you have, you know, apartment, house together. I think that it's okay. Steven is there, but I don't think you have anything to worry about. Steven probably has something to worry about if he ever wanted to try to get back with Alex, but I really think that, you know, she has the upper hand on this. And, you know, I don't fault her for having her husband's back when she threw a drink on him, because, I don't know, I like the way she did it. It was kind of like slick. She was just like, okay, cheese, and then just like tossed the drink over. Like, I didn't even see that coming. So I thought that was like really cool. I'm like, okay, that was like a classy way of getting back at somebody. But it's not like she like was like a Real Housewife situation where she just tossed it. Like, she was like classy about it. But I don't know. They should have known by inviting all of the exes and stuff to a baby shower was not going to work out. It was not going to work out. Because just because, like, if Alex said, Caroline, no, your mom and stuff cannot come because of how Caroline's mom addressed Alex, then it should go the same way. Then no, Steven sure as heck isn't allowed to come to the party, because he's just as drama as my mama. That's what I would have said. So it's going to be fair. And you know what? Party probably would have been so good, because there wouldn't have been drama. Don't invite the people that cause drama in your life. I
don't think anybody had fun at the party. Everybody looked like they were dodging tables and flying drinks. Like, people were just like, I don't know where to stand because I don't want to get punched or hit with. So like, it was insane. I've never seen any type of baby shower type party that ended like that. Like I said, the police could have ended in people getting arrested. That's how crazy that party got. And I was just like, the exes all being there. And it's funny because, like you said, they discussed who should be there and who shouldn't be there. And then it still ended up being full of people who shouldn't have been there on both ends, right? Because Caroline invited the girl that she invited and he didn't want her there. And Alex invited Steven, which obviously Alex should have known not to invite Steven. Steven shouldn't be invited to anything at this point. Steven is untrustworthy. Like, Steven always shows up and he's like that person that brings someone to the party that they know you don't like. And then they pretend, oh, he's Jackie Christie. Jackie Christie, okay? So if y'all watch at Basketball Wives, he's Jackie Christie. He brings somebody to the party knowing that y'all don't get along, and then sick you on each other, and then sit back and watch you guys go at it. That's basically what he did. And that's not fair, because this should have been a nice party where they could have gotten some baby shower gifts for Bowen, and everybody left no drinks in their faces, no bruises on their bodies, right? But that's not what happened.
That's very true. I don't know. This was one hell of a ride, let me tell you. Like, I really like this show. I think I like it because it is so ridiculous. I mean, most case scenarios, you look at it and you're like, how is this a thing? Like, how are these people living successful lives and relationships when they still have their past haunting them? So I just love this show. Like, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that it's called reality TV. It is based on real or true or actual events. Some stuff is scripted and, put there for entertainment purposes. And I think everybody just, like, their opinions are so crazy, and people just, they go off the wall. If you read like comments and stuff that people say on the show, it's like, it's for entertainment purposes. It's to entertain you. It's not to like make your life just stop and be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I think it's fun to like actually have discussions and talk about all of it, because it's like, it's a good time. It was a fun show to watch. It's nothing to take like seriously. And even though these are people in their real lives, they're living it, not you.
Yeah.
They have to deal with the consequences. They have to deal with the backlash. They have to deal with answering to whoever. So it's like, it's not your part to sit there and pass judgment on others.
Yeah.
It's solely just opinion based. So anything that I know, and I'm speaking for myself, anything that I have ever said on any one of these shows is just solely my opinion. And it's just like what I get for just watching it like a normal person, like anybody else in America.
It's my favorite type of drama. It doesn't involve me. So I can just sit back and watch and judge and just laugh, because at the end of the day, those problems are not my problems. I just love to watch. But I appreciate and respect the people who let us into their lives, because that's hard too. Like letting people into your life and it's complicated. It's like you're letting us judge you, and I respect people who let us, get a little view into their lives, like Elodie and DeAndre and the blended bunch, Jennifer, Chantel, Josh, and then actually Kinsey, Chelsea, and Matt this season. That was a really crazy situation. She was living in the house and she had feelings. Like, I just appreciate being able to watch this drama, because like I said, if it's not my drama, I'm all locked in. I'm locked in. I want to see how it goes. And we don't condone violence, but I enjoyed watching the confrontation on the finale last night. I hope everyone left okay. No one was hurt, but like I said, I don't condone it, but it didn't involve me. So I got my popcorn and I watched it because it was interesting and it was entertaining. And I think that was the objective, to be entertained. And that was probably the most entertaining finale of a spinoff TLC show that I've seen in a long time. That was really good. Like, I didn't get up to get a drink refill or anything.
Goal is to bring back to season 3, and if they didn't leave you with some type of wanting more or cliffhanger, then we would be done with the show and we wouldn't be talking about it now. So obviously we were ready for a season 3, and
I can't wait.
If they pump them out as quickly as they do 90 Day Fiance, we'd have one like every other week.
I can't wait. And some people on Twitter said that maybe Elodie could come back for season 3 because it's kind of her and her ex already, her and Darian, because they're really close. And then she could bring her new boyfriend on, and then it could be you, me, and my ex with her. Because a lot of people are like, it's kind of the same thing, right? Because she's super close with her ex, and then she's dating someone else. You don't think so?
No, it is not the same thing. It's not the same thing, because she respects the boundaries. The only thing that was like kind of like questionable was how he was taking care of her during her surgery. I feel that like that was the only thing, because she was in a relationship and she could have asked DeAndre to help her, but she wanted him, and he was kind of taking care of her like that was his wife still. So that's the only thing that I would think that would like cross the line. But on an everyday basis, no, I think it's basically just a lot of like co-parenting. I think that it's a lot of like, okay, you know what, you're going to come and pick up our daughter at this time, bring her back this time, hey, let's do an organized birthday party. But I don't think it's anything like how Rowan and DeAndre or, April, Lauren, and their situation. Yeah. To me, I did not get that. Other than him taking care of her, that was it. I mean, that was it. I can't base a TV show based on that.
Yeah, I mean, they are close. But sharing a child, you can't really get much closer than that, like you said.
Well, yeah,
like,
there's going to be that, but
yeah, season 3, I hope so. This is one of my favorite spinoff shows, or the different shows that they put out on TLC. I think the idea of people being close with their exes are always going to be out of the far realm of norm for everybody. So I think watching it is just entertaining for me, because I love the side eyes. I think Kinsey was the queen of side eye this season. Like every time Chelsea said something or Matt said something about Chelsea, Kinsey had like the biggest side eye. She was just like, I'm so sick of this. And she like always was giving side. So that's what I love about the show, because when the exes and are talking to the current person, the person is like giving them side eye. That's my favorite part. It's like the unspoken entertainment of the season, because they're like looking at the side, they're like, shut up. You know, like, shut up. I'm so sick of you.
Oh, yeah, Lydia, Scott, Liz, yeah.
Oh, Lord. You should see
another chapter. That's a whole another show.
Yeah, there's a live on my page that we did last night, and Scott was on. If you haven't watched that, check that out. It's crazy. Warning, Scott used a lot of F-bombs. A lot. I lost count. But he did tell us a lot, and he is dating someone, so, or talking to someone, so check that out. All right, guys, so that's it. That's the end of You, Me, and Your Ex Season 2. Thank you so much, Heather C., for joining me this season. And like you said, we'll be back for season 3, because we're hooked. We love the entertainment, and Alex and Caroline are going to be showing us a new baby next season, so I'm excited for that. And maybe April and Roy could be back somehow, like if there's an ex in there. I highly doubt they would ever film anything with John again, though. I feel like John is done with this.
They need some new people. That's where they go wrong. They need new people to keep it fresh.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get some new people, some new craziness, some new weird relationships and weird closeness between people, and then we'll get our popcorn and we'll get our drinks and we'll be ready.
And happy 4th of July to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for spending your evening with us, and I've had a blast. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now everybody go and watch the fireworks. Happy 4th. We'll talk to you all really soon.
Bye.